Hello, my friendly friends. You caught me cleaning my mustache. Hey, Elias Israel here, and today is exciting because I told myself in this new year what I'd strive to do is I would strive to bring fresh content on a daily basis. What does that mean? It means, for me, the definition of that, so that way you'll know, is that I'm going to post something daily on video, to have video documentation of me saying something, doing something, even if it's just a update on where I am, and it could be just popping on for 2 minutes and saying hi to everybody. And but I would like to take a journey together through life, so that way you guys can be kind of part of my life and hear what I'm thinking. And I know I come on here and post often about my thoughts and things like that. So I thought what I'd do this morning to start this off, and I know we are the third day into the year, but right now is a great time to start this. I'll just go 3 days after the year ends, so that way we can do a full year. But so I wanted to break this story down. Okay, I want to break a story down because that's kind of what I like to do. So I haven't even started in on this story yet, so I don't know where this is going to go actually. So we're on a journey together, but you can kind of see the process of the way that I think and how I develop material, how I develop messages. But this is I tell these stories. And so I thought what I would do is I'd get on here and I'd tell the story of what happened within this year that I didn't tell too much of, that my daughter Layla, she was with her friends, and we all went together to the beach. Okay, this was during the summertime, and we all went together to the beach, and just right down the road from our house, literally 5 minutes. That beach was about 5 minutes from where our house was, and she had about 3 of her friends, and then and Morgan was with her, and so and then me. I took everyone to the beach, and so I'm laying there on my little thing there. I makeshifted a thing, and I used my shoe as a pillow, and then I hear screaming. We're only there for like 10 minutes. I hear screaming, and here comes Layla, and they're kind of walking with her, holding her up, and she's trying to like walk, and you can see her on her face. You know how you know when your kid, you can see something on your child's face that where you know this is serious, you know that they're really in pain, and they're trying to act like it's not that big of a deal, so that way other people, maybe it's less embarrassing to them but this was a big deal. You could see it on her face, and I could see her and they were walking her over, and she was bleeding. And I said, what happened? And they said, I think she stepped on something. She may have stepped on a glass. She may have stepped on something. And there was nothing in her foot, but she was going, Dad, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And so then I thought, oh no, we've got to get her to get help. Well, I had to take someone was getting picked up. I forgot what the deal was, but I had to get someone back to the house before we went to the hospital to get this checked out. And a lot of times, right when you step on something, right when you do something, it hurts right then, and maybe it minimizes a little bit. So you kind of give some space in between when something happened and when you choose to, like, okay, this is what we need to do. And so I was putting that space between there, and we rushed home, and when we rushed home, it was getting really, really, really bad. And so I told everyone, listen, I told her friends, listen, everyone, just get out at our house. We'll come back. I'm taking her to the emergency room because it was getting bad. And I was having all of these thoughts about how when something gets bit, or on TV, when you see those stories where someone gets bit, they get by a snake or out in the ocean, a jellyfish. And what this was, it was a stingray bite. So they had gone into this area that there was a lot of seaweed and stuff, and they went into this area, and she just stepped right onto a stingray, and it got her right in the foot. And that's what it was. Well, I was having all of those thoughts and those flashbacks of all those shows I've seen. You see those horrible shows on Shark Week or on all those things, and they show you how bad the poison gets to the heart system, and they're in some foreign land, and then they just die or they become paralyzed. Well, as a parent, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I've got to get, because this is getting worse, and she's not a real dramatic person when it comes to like trying to get attention because something's so bad, that kind of stuff. So I knew that her response, I knew that she was really, really hurting. So as a parent, I wanted to stop that pain. And so I dropped everybody off. We rushed. I called 911 because I was thinking this could be something, some poison inside of her system. And I called 911 and they said, well, you have to pull over. You have to pull over. And I said, I can't pull over. I'm on my way to the emergency room. And they said, if you listen, we can't send an ambulance. We can't send somebody to help you if you're not in a location. We can't just follow you. You have to pull over or get to the hospital. And so I said, oh, where, you know, and Layla was screaming in the back, and it was just, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I was just panicking, but I was still staying steady. And I knew that if I kept going, because what I didn't want to do is pull over and it would take longer for them to get to us than it would for me to get to the hospital, because we only live like 10 minutes from an emergency room. So I kept going, and finally she was screaming so bad, and I said, okay, I'm by the Starbucks. You know, how soon could you guys get here? And she said, let me put the call out, and almost immediately I heard a roar, and she said, they're on the way, just pull over there. And so I heard that thing. The ambulance came. It wasn't an ambulance, it was actually the fire truck with the paramedics. They came up and they met us right there by the Starbucks. We were right at a house. It's like, so there's a hill that comes down, and there's a Starbucks on the bottom and a bunch of this downtown area, and this house is right here on this hill. We parked right there, and they came and they got out, and I said, I think it's a start. And Layla was screaming at this point. She was screaming, and her leg was getting red, and I was just, I was panicking. And one of the paramedics, one of them said, okay, let's get some ice. Let's get some ice on it. Let's get some cold water. And then another one said, no, stop. Don't do that. It's going to make it worse. I know what to do. We need hot water. We need hot water. And the other ones kind of looked at him, and I thought, oh no, these guys don't know what they're talking about. There's a conflict among the ranks here. And he said, trust me, she needs hot water. The cold is going to make it worse. And so we were like, okay, I was about to run down to that Starbucks and get them to give me some hot water or something. And he said, no, we need a big bucket. And so he went to that house and just started banging on the door and told them, we need a bucket with hot water. Boil some water. We need a bucket with hot water. And they were like, woo, 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 woo. And so they ran in and they did that. And it was actually a lot faster than I thought it would happen, because you know how long it takes to boil water. And so then they came back out, and he said, I'm here actually just on like an assignment or whatever. He's spending a week here in Ventura, but he's from Rincon Beach, which is right up the road here, but it's a different it's a surfer beach, and they just got a different layout. And he said that he works there, and what they have in the last few years, they have way more stingrays, and so they have way more stingray bite injuries. And what they've learned is cold water actually makes the thing worse. It feels horrible. So they've learned that hot water is what numbs it until all the poison works its way through. Hot water numbs this thing. And so as long as you keep your limb in hot water, but the moment you take it out, it's going to start hurting again. So these people brought out a big trash can, you know, and like a 13-gallon, and they brought that out. Layla stuck her foot in there. And immediately she was like, and it felt better. She's getting better. And then she pulled it out, and immediately she was, and so she put it back in. And those guys literally, I mean, they really, really, I can't tell you how much they did for me and the family who boiled the water, because my daughter was hurting and now she's okay. And the whole thing, you know, when I look at it now, I think, what can I learn from that? What is it that I can learn? What is it that I can take away from that? And so in my mind, as I've been talking, here are the points that pop out to me. One, Layla was standing in an area. She went to have fun. She went to have fun with her friends. She didn't have evil intent in her heart to cause damage to herself, but she got hurt along with having fun. And a lot of times what we do in life is we will have an intention of just having fun, and somehow we make a mistake. We're not equipped with the information information that we need to be doing the thing that we're doing. And so in this, what we've learned through this is they said, when you see seaweed, when you see it, clustered up on the beach, you don't just step in, you scoot in. So you put your feet in the sand and you scoot up, scoot up, scoot up, scoot up. So that way you don't step on any creature and it swims away as you go in there. Well, we learned that, but that's information that we didn't have until this happened. And it could be that you've went through something in life where you got hurt, but now you have new information. It doesn't mean you have to stop doing what it is that used to bring you joy, but it means that you've learned the ways to enter in to that joy. And so instead of just stepping in anymore, to cautiously scoot in. And so some of you are out there, you may be thinking, I have to stop everything that I used to love to do because I got hurt by this person, I got hurt in this relationship, I got hurt in this issue, I got hurt at this church, No. It doesn't mean you have to stop. It means you just learn from what it is you've been through before, and now you know more than you did, and you can engage in a different way. You can enter into this thing in a more cautious way. Your friends may not know this, but they can learn from you, because you've been through the pain. And so instead of you being the victim all the time, it could be that you are the one who is the victor. You could be the one who shares information that keeps others from getting hurt, rather than just sharing your hurt. Instead of encouraging everybody in Layla's life, instead of encouraging everyone to never go into the beach because the beach is evil, and because the beach, you got hurt at the beach. And I hear a lot of people doing this, like about church. Don't go to church. I don't believe in blah, blah, all this stuff because they got hurt in a church. You know what? That's a common denominator. You know why? Because people go to church, and people aren't perfect, and people will mess up. They will mess up. The Apostle Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. It means there's going to be moments when I'm not a follower of Christ. My behavior does not exemplify that, but the times I do, that's where you should follow me. And listen, you don't have to stop going to church. You don't have to stop being in relationships. You don't have to stop because you got hurt before. You don't have to stop. Men are not the enemy because one man did you wrong. Women are not the enemy because one woman did you wrong. People are not the enemy. Best friends are not enemies to have because a best friend betrayed you. That's foolish thinking. It just allows us, though, to know there's a possibility of injury, there's a possibility of hurt, and I've learned from the past in how to enter into these things with more caution, and as I do that, I can have more fun because now I feel safe, I feel secure, and I'm having fun in the same time. So there's one point right there that we can pull out of there. Layla was just there to have fun. She got hurt while she was having fun, but now it's bad and it's getting worse. It's not, and you could be in a situation right now where it's bad, it hurt, you thought it would get better, but it's actually getting worse. At that point, what you have to do is you have to, one, allow someone to help you. I was the helper in this situation. Someone to help you, and someone to make calls beyond you, because you're in pain. So you may not have all of the wisdom, because you're going to be responding and reacting based off of emotion. And emotion in painful moments is not steady. You don't make good decisions, but in moments where things are not steady. You don't make good decisions. Your thinker's off track when you are feeling hurt. Does that make sense? So someone else in your life needs to be brought along to help navigate you to where you need to be, so that way you can just get to that next part. And so what I made the decision to do is, this is beyond me. I have to call in someone. So I called 911. I called them. They came, and they knew. And even the people who are trying to assist you, they may even give you advice. Like these initial firefighters, they gave the advice, and they said, we've got to get an ice pack on this. But someone beyond their level who deals with this kind of injury all the time, he was able to speak into this thing, and he was able to say, no, that's going to make it worse. Here's what she needs. And then so it could be that you reach out to somebody, they're giving you advice. That advice is harmful. It actually hurts you worse. That doesn't doesn't mean you stop taking advice. That means there's another level up, a specialist who has dealt with this specific type of hurt, this specific type of injury, and that person speaks into, here's what you need to do. And so that's what that guy was. And so everyone, it was a learning moment for those guys. They came to another level, and it brought us relief from the pain that she was in, because we listened to somebody and submitted ourselves to somebody who said something that we would have never thought of. And all I could think of was give her some serum, give her a shot, do something to stop the pain. And he suggested a simple thing, a simple adjustment to make. Sometimes the things that will stop the hurt are simple. Sometimes it's not this big giant thing. Sometimes it's not rushing to a coping mechanism to stop and numb ourselves from the pain. It could be you have a history of coping with things through pills, through medicine, through alcohol, through drugs, through substance. It could be that, and you run to that every time. That isn't actually doing the job of stopping the pain. But you think that this will, because just like I thought a shot, just like I thought something would stop. It was just hot water. That's what caused her to stop. That's what drove out all the stuff. It was just a simple thing. It could be a simple adjustment that you need to make in your life that isn't even that complicated, but it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound to you like this makes sense. This doesn't sound like something that would make sense to stop all of the pain that you're going through right now. But remember, you are listening to someone beyond you in this, and that person can offer you something beyond what you know already. So today, if you're in a place of injury, you're in a place of hurt, it's important that you allow someone else to help you navigate through the thing, and 2, allow that person to make some calls that you can't make at that time. Allow that to happen. Allow them to speak into this and say, this is beyond me. We're going to get someone over here to help. And when they start helping, listen to them, be open to them. And even if they say things that led you off track at first, it doesn't mean they have wrong motive. Their motive is to help stop the pain, and then someone will step in. God always makes sure that there's someone around to step in that will help you stop the pain in your life. And so that's the story today. That's what we're going to kick off this year with, is the alleviation of pain that we're going through sometimes in life. It could be a simple adjustment, a simple thing we need to do, but we need to learn from it. Learn what caused us that pain. Learn from it. Don't run from the things that cause us joy just because we've been hurt in those areas before, but we engage in a different way. Does that make sense? And so there it is. And I'm going to download this. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel, and we're going to kick up that YouTube again. We're going to kick up the podcast, and we're going to do all this great and mighty stuff. It's going to be a year of change. It's going to be a year of differences made. It's going to be a productive year, not just for me, but for you. I believe this. I believe that I have been sent on this earth to influence those who influence the world. So that means if you are someone that watches this, if you're someone that follows me, you're a world influencer, and I get the opportunity to speak on a daily basis into your life. It may not be profound, but it is something. And I'm not called to do everything. I'm called to do something. And it's the something that I'm called to do that I'm responsible to do. And so I speak that over you the same way. All right, guys, I love you. See you. Rock on. Bye.